we have some smart people from URCA on our program today who are able to answer all the questions that Godfrey and I would put to them with respect to regulating electricity in our country. There's a proposed consumer protection plan, and it is being promoted, and they are going to go through the Family Islands, go through New Providence, educating people on this particular plan. Mr. Enos?
Mr. Cambridge, is there anywhere in URCA's budget you allocate monies for research? You see, that is one of the aspects that is missing here, you know. We depend on other people and we adapt what other people do to our situation, all right? We are an archipelago. This is a very expensive state to run. And the cost of electricity varies from island to island. So it can't be one model fit all, right? You have variations because of the location from sources, these kinds of factors, right? And availability of facilities to establish the kind of technology. How do you factor in these issues?
Well, I'll tell you this, the production and consumption of electricity throughout the Bahamas is a case study in itself. And that's because it's very diverse in nature. We have from your metropolitan city of Nassau and Freeport right down to your rural communities of your Long Keys and what have you. And so the needs of the different consumers are even just as diverse, and that's why our road show, our road campaign is going to islands that represent the different demographics and stuff of the country. Because of that, it's very hard for us even to find international consultants or people who understand. And that's why we're building the local capacity. And I can tell you one of the things that impressed me about URCA was the training program and the investment that they place in training and in research.
You know, we have on staff economists, we have research analysts, and all of these technical persons, of course, and we have engineers who are qualified and qualifying themselves to ensure that they are able to deal with some of the issues that you've raised.
You see, it's hard for URCA to be a police, right?
You don't like to see us
No, that's what you are. It's hard for URCA to be a police, right? But you got to know, but URCA has to be assured, right, that what their customers are telling them is accurate, right? That's why you need your own independent source to evaluate what BP are telling you or what Freeport are telling you, right? Because you can't just rely on what they say.
And that is why we are in an active even recruitment process to shore up any area where we feel we need that extra assistance. And you're right, we have to ensure that we have the
capacity,
the confidence of the public,
the capacity, the technology, that our persons are as well trained
as them,
exactly,
as your customers,
exactly, and as those who are the providers.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
The people who live in New Providence, they subsidize electricity for people in the Family Islands.
Yes.
You mentioned Long Key, for instance.
9 people, or 10 people there.
Probably less. There are islands in the Bahamas that are sparsely populated. And talking about consumer protection now, and talking about rates, there are people who live in New Providence who believe that, well, it's not for me to subsidize electricity for somebody in Long Key or somebody in Sweetings Key, that I'm being overcharged based on the kind of service that I'm getting.
But let me add something what you say. Maybe the Spanish Wells model should be duplicated throughout the country, because Spanish Wells are paying for their own electricity. Nassau, what happens here doesn't compensate them. Maybe that's a model that needs to be looked at for duplication.
You're talking about consumer protection now.
Yeah.
And the extent to which I am being protected and I'm not being penalized because I am in the city of New Providence.
Well, there are two things there. One, Spanish Wells is a very special model. They have their own economy, and it's built around the fishing industry, and so the dynamics and all of that is a lot different from what goes on throughout a lot of the rest of the Bahamas. But and if you start to talk to the economists now about whether it's right or not to be subsidizing the costs in the smaller islands, you start to think if these islands were made to pay the true cost of providing electricity in their jurisdictions, you may wind up at a bunch of economic migration, which will wind up at another bunch of issues.
Yeah, but that's the government's responsibility to subsidize.
Yeah.
That's not my responsibility.
The government
as
should
a
Who
take-
funds the government?
No, that's not my personal responsibility.
But who funds the
No,
government?
no, what he's saying is that if he could pay 25 cents, why charge him 50? Because you're going to, what he said, that the government should
Yes.
take, the government should take
The government
X,
take the hit,
the
not
government
me.
should take X dollars out of the consolidated fund for that.
And,
the
how,
government- the
and how
government-
is government going to get it?
Wait a minute.
Taxation.
Yes.
Yeah, but-
And so there are a number of things, and that's the bigger picture that the government would have to speak to, but that was all taken into consideration, I would imagine, when there are concessions given on the duties for fuel and what have you, and generation equipment and what have you. And at the end of the day, they're fellow Bahamians, and we have to look out for them, and they look out for us. That's why we're one.
You're talking about consumer protection.
Wendell, I'd like to quickly tell our residents throughout the Bahamas when they can expect to see us talking about this. And as you have alluded to, we are embarking, and Siobhan mentioned it, on an aggressive consumer education plan to ensure that our residents know what's going on, what we're doing at URCA. Bimini, you can look for us on September 5th. North Abaco, Tuesday, September 26th. Marsh Harbor, Wednesday, September 27th. South Abaco, September 28th. We'll be in Crooked Island and Auckland's the 5th and 6th of October. And in Inagua on the 10th of October. Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera, Roxanne, Lower Upper Berg will be there beginning on the 17th of October. And in Exuma on the 25th of October. We want to remind
You're going to
your
Inagua?
viewers, we are going to Inagua. We'll be in Inagua on the 10th of October. We want to remind your viewers that they can reach us at telephone 393-0234. Family Islanders can call in at 242-300-URCA or 242-300-8722. Mail us at info@urcabahamas.bs. We really want to hear from your viewers, from our listeners, and don't forget to join us on Tuesday, next Tuesday, at St. Joseph Hall at 6:30 p.m. for our first in a two-part series for New Providence Town Hall meetings. The second one will be held on the 15th up at Doris Johnson High School.
Good. I hope these things are well attended so that you can get good feedback from the public.
That's important.
Good. Thank you so very much, Mr. Cambridge.
All right, thank you.
Come back
Thank you,
to
Mr.
see
Davis.
us soon. Thank you, Mavis. Holly? I don't know if I want to see you soon. it's my friend, my cousin. I always teasing her. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for having us. And
She's an able spokesperson for any cause.
Both of them.
I'll tell you. Thank you, Godfrey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching and listening to our program. Good evening, everyone.